Have you ever felt lonely even when you weren't really alone? It's the quiet kind of loneliness, the one that hides behind a smile or behind the words, I've just been busy. You go through your day, you laugh, you get things done, but somewhere deep inside, there's a small ache that never fully goes away. It's not about being physically alone, it's about feeling unseen. You realize that if something amazing or terrible happened, you wouldn't know who to tell. You start to wonder, if I disappeared for a while, would anyone really notice? This kind of loneliness doesn't shout. It's quiet but constant, and over time, it starts to shape how you think, how you move, how you see yourself. People often assume that someone without friends must not care about others, but that's rarely true. Sometimes it's the opposite. You care deeply. You notice every small change in someone's tone, every time their smile doesn't quite reach their eyes. And after getting hurt enough times, you pull back. Not because you dislike people, but because it starts to feel unsafe to open up. The truth is, many of us didn't choose to be alone. It just happened slowly, through small disappointments that built up over the years. A time you opened up and got laughed at, a secret you shared that was used against you, moments that quietly taught your heart a lesson. It's safer not to try, so you stop reaching out. You stop expecting much. You start telling yourself you're fine on your own. And for a while, solitude really does feel peaceful, like taking a break from a noisy world. But slowly, that peace turns into silence, and the silence turns into pain. Because no matter how strong or independent we are, we all need to feel seen. We all need someone who gets us, not for what we do, but for who we are. And when that's missing for too long, it changes us. It makes our hearts quieter and our minds louder. Most of us don't wake up one morning and decide, I don't need friends. It happens slowly. We get hurt one small moment at a time. Maybe someone laughed when we were honest. Maybe we trusted someone who later disappeared. Maybe we tried to fit in, but it always felt like we were pretending. So we start protecting ourselves. We tell people less. We show them only the parts that feel safe. We keep conversations light so we don't have to feel that sting of being misunderstood again. We convince ourselves that being alone is better than being disappointed. And for a while, it works. Life feels easier when no one has the power to hurt you, but there's a quiet cost. The more walls you build, the fewer doors you leave open. You stop reaching out because it feels pointless. You stop expecting connection because hope starts to hurt. Before we know it, protection becomes a habit. We start believing that solitude is just who we are now. But deep down, that's not the truth. The truth is, we got tired of being let down. We're not cold, we're cautious. And caution can look a lot like loneliness. We think loneliness lives only in the mind, but it lives in the body too. When you go too long without close connection, your body actually feels unsafe. Your heart beats faster. You sleep lighter. You start scanning for rejection before it even happens. Even in texts, even in small things that probably mean nothing. That's because our brains are wired for belonging. Thousands of years ago, being alone meant danger. So even today, isolation can feel like a quiet alarm that never stops ringing. You tell yourself you're fine, but deep down, your body still remembers the feeling of being left out. Over time, you start to see the world through that fear. Someone takes a little longer to reply. You assume they don't care. Someone cancels plans. You tell yourself you're not worth their time. You don't do it on purpose. Your mind is just trying to protect you from more pain. But this kind of protection starts to steal from you. It makes you overthink, overanalyze, and eventually over isolate. The more you pull back, the more invisible you feel. And the more invisible you feel, the harder it becomes to reach out again. The truth is, you were never broken. You were just trying to stay safe in a world that sometimes forgot to handle your heart gently. But safety and connection don't have to fight each other. It's possible to have both. Once you start teaching your body that not everyone is a threat. There are two kinds of solitude, one that heals you and one that slowly hardens you. The difference isn't the silence, it's the reason behind it. When you choose to be alone to recharge, that quiet feels peaceful. It helps you breathe, it gives you space to find yourself again. But when loneliness chooses you, when you're alone because you don't feel welcome anywhere, that same quiet can feel heavy. Carl Jung once said, loneliness doesn't come from having no people around, but from being unable to share what feels important to you. And that's what makes loneliness hurt so much. It's not the lack of people, it's the lack of understanding. You could be surrounded by noise and still feel unseen. But here's what begins to change everything. When you start using your solitude not as an escape, but as a space to get to know yourself again, it starts to heal instead of harm. You stop asking, why doesn't anyone see me? And start asking, do I even show them who I really am? That's when loneliness starts turning into strength, because you begin to realize the first friendship you rebuild has to be the one with yourself. Healing from long loneliness doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small, brave moments that most people would never even notice. Answering a message instead of overthinking it, smiling back when someone makes eye contact, letting yourself say yes to a simple invitation, even if you feel nervous the whole time. You don't need to be confident, you just need to be open, a little bit at a time. Every time you take a small risk and realize it didn't destroy you, your brain learns a new lesson. Connection can be safe. Start small. Text someone first, even if it feels awkward. Let a conversation last 1 minute longer than usual. Say thank you and actually mean it. You don't need to explain your whole story to be seen. You just need to show up as yourself, the real, unedited you. And remember, connection isn't about being impressive, it's about being honest. The people who are right for you won't need you to perform. They'll meet you in your quiet. They'll feel your stillness not as distance, but as depth. When real friendship comes back into your life, it usually doesn't arrive with fireworks. It begins softly, with one person who listens without trying to fix you, someone whose presence feels safe, not demanding. You talk, you laugh a little, you sit in silence that doesn't feel heavy, and in that moment, you realize this is what you've been waiting for. Not a crowd, not attention, just recognition. That's when you finally understand. Being alone didn't mean you were unlovable. It meant you were healing. You were becoming the kind of person who could hold deeper, more honest connection when it finally arrived. So if you're still in that quiet season right now, please remember, you're not behind and you're not forgotten. You're growing roots in silence that will one day hold the weight of real connection. You're learning patience, self respect, and peace, the kind of peace that doesn't vanish when people come or go. One day you'll meet someone and feel that rare, gentle recognition. You too? I thought I was the only one. And in that moment, the years of loneliness will start to make sense. You'll realize solitude wasn't your punishment, it was your preparation. So walk gently with yourself. Keep your heart open, even if it still trembles, because somewhere out there, someone is waiting to meet the version of you that finally learned how to stay, not out of fear, but out of love. And when that day comes, you'll understand. Friendship isn't about how many people are around you, it's about being seen fully, quietly, truly, and realizing you were never really alone in the first place. If this video makes sense to you, thank you for being here. Every time you watch, reflect, or share your story, it reminds us why we create, to bring a little light to the quiet corners of people's lives. Each video we make is part of a journey, and the next one continues from here, so don't miss it. It might be exactly what your heart needs next. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It means more than you know. It's not just support, it's encouragement that keeps us creating more videos like this for you and for others who may need them. Thank you for walking with us. Take care of your light, and see you in the next chapter.